willing to bet that I can change your perception of me in seconds? Well, here it goes. My magic trick of the night. Abracadabra. Impressive trick, isn't it? Isn't it great to live in the 21st century, a time where deleting history has become more important than making it? Tonight, I invite you to take an active role in joining me in making history together. As a Muslim girl, born and raised in war-torn South Lebanon, I stand in front of you, grateful, humbled, and eager to share my story. But before I go on, let me take this off. Because I'm not here to represent Muslim women. I'm here simply as a human, sharing one of my life's most important lessons. Because I've learned that no matter what your beliefs are, we are all born to love. I grew up in a house across the Mediterranean Sea. The school across the street from me was turned into a military camp. While I didn't have cable growing up, my Disney Channel was replaced with a live feed into the soldiers' workout routine. No complaints there. But whenever the political situation worsened, I felt trapped. There were soldiers everywhere, in the sea, in the land, and on the sky. I've seen bodies on the street, utter desperation, hopelessness, and complete destruction. And in the midst of war and terror, I hated my enemy, who I thought at the time were Jewish people. Then, at the age of 16, I came to Canada. And they were my colleagues, my classmates, my teachers. They too were born to love. I went to a peace protest one day due to the war in Gaza, and I arrived at the scene and two groups were fighting, shouting angry, hateful messages at each other. I stood conflicted with what to do with all the tension in the air. A part of me just wanted to join my friends like I normally would, to protest against the bloodshed and the war and the injustice. But another part just wanted to do something different. So I ran on the streets of Toronto that day looking for a place that sold cardboard. And in big, bold letters, I wrote, "I shall not hate." And I stood in the middle of that street in the minus 20 degrees weather, holding that sign up. That was the day I realized that I am ready to share my message with the world, even if I have to do it alone. A few months after that incident, I was a maid of honor in a Jewish wedding, celebrating the nature that we are born to love. And while the political situation in the world sounds hopeless, I'm not here to offer a political solution. I'm here to make the bold statement that each one of us is responsible for being an advocate for peace and justice. I wrote a poem a few years ago, which you're probably asking yourself right now, where do I start from? Would you like to hear it? It goes like this. Looking at the world today is leaving me hopeless. Iraq, Palestine, Lebanon is just a mess. Innocent bodies everywhere, too much to some, leaving me wondering, where? Where do I start from? Do I apologize to our restless mothers and wipe off their tears? Do I calm a whole nation which days are filled with fears? Do I lie to an orphan miserably looking for his mom? Where? Where do I start from? My heart filled with agony day after day, while looking for beauty somewhere, but all that's left is gray. When you preach the message of peace, you feel so dumb. Where? Where do I start from? I'll start from something I can change, something I can control. I'll start from within me, my mind, body, and loving soul. I'll start by doing the faith and spreading the peace. And when you are ready, join me. Join me, please. I'll start by believing in everything that requires gratitude. And if something is impossible, just change your attitude. I'll sing the message of love, which starts with a hum. That is where I'll start from. And before you criticize me, I'd like you to walk a mile in my shoes. This way, when you do criticize me, you're a mile away and you have my shoes. But as long as you realize that the only knowledge that can hurt you is the knowledge that you don't have, you're going to come back, and we're going to walk this path together. I feel like politicians and diapers have one thing in common. They both need to be changed regularly, and for the same reason. But I'm here to remind you that Nelson Mandela realized that we are all born to love, yet taught to hate. Martin Luther King said, in the end, we remember not the words of our enemy, but the silence of our friends. So friends, next time you see a woman wearing a hijab, remember, you too are born to love. Thank you.